I'm joined by Olivia Salazar-Winsper. Hello, Olivia. You're going to start us off with our VIP visitor, of course, in Paris, the second day of his trip here, Chinese President Xi Jinping. He's already upset the local population, though, especially users of the metro.
Yes, and as you know, you don't want to upset a Parisian or get on their wrong side. This morning, 13 of Paris's central metro stations were shut around large monuments that he was visiting or holding meetings at, which of course created chaos for commuters, and they weren't that happy, unleashed their rage on Twitter. People tweeting things like, here they're reporting in Le Monde, it's all very well signing these multi-million euro deals, but what about my day off work? Is Beijing going to get the bill for that? One person taking a little lighter look at it saying, right, I'm just going to nip down the shops. Do you want to shut the metros near my house? But more seriously, the affair, his visit has given rise to a lot of more reflective editorial and analysis today in the papers. One title here from Rue 89 is, we're rolling out the red carpet for China in the same week as Russia is being sanctioned by the West, suggesting that the human rights record for these two countries is comparable, and why so kind to China? There was, of course, a protest today that was planned by Reporters Without Borders. They wanted to draw attention to human rights abuses in China, particularly the death penalty and also lack of freedom of speech. However, their trucks transporting their equipment and the people for the protest were blocked on Paris's Ring Road. They weren't able to come and do the demo. And here there's a photograph of this, it's obviously photoshopped, Chinese leader there making a very vulgar gesture, which is what they believe is his attitude towards freedom of the press. So it might be going well with Hollande, but not necessarily with the locals.
There's no doubt human rights hasn't been to the forefront of the political discussions anyway, from what it appears. Let's move on now to Russia, and you've a story in connection to with Russia Today, the state news sponsored channel there. One of their former journalists resigned, but now is back at the network.
Now, if you cast your mind back a couple of weeks, there was this on-air, very dramatic resignation of Liz Wahl, who in an editorial later claimed she was Putin's pawn. This was, saying that basically she was exploited by the government-funded channel to give a pro-Russian stance and obviously defend Russia's intervention in Ukraine. She resigned publicly on air with this very dramatic speech saying that she could not accept the Russian whitewash of what was happening in Ukraine. It now appears that there are rumours that was perhaps something behind her step down, and it wasn't just her moral stance. This journalist, his name is Robert Scher here, has been digging. His website is called Truth Dig. He's been digging behind the story, and he's found a tweet from the same day from the Foreign Policy Initiative, which is a right-wing think tank, well, it's neoconservative in the US, saying something big might happen on Russia Today in 20 to 25 minutes, you should watch. He also, the same journalist, Robert Scher, went and spoke to her colleagues at Russia Today and said what was her position on politics. They said she was completely apolitical. She never discussed politics outside of work. So there are two theories now going around. Either she's done this to further her own career. She has been on television a lot in the US recently. Or she is doing it with the support and the backing of the neoconservative lobby to advance a position that says that Washington should be firmer with Moscow. So I think we can...
So you're raising the whole allegation that she's a bit of a plant there.
You never know. We'll see where she crops up on television.
And finally, Olivia, a story from the hairdressers of North Korea that got plenty of clicks on social media, but wasn't in fact true.
No, this morning there were a lot of stories suggesting that Kim Jong-un had decreed, now let's take a look at this haircut. He had decreed it law that all the young men in North Korea should have the same haircut as him, which is a unique mixture of the undercut and the bowl haircut. Yes. This was reported by the Times, the South Korean paper, the BBC. A couple of investigative journalists did a bit more digging, spoke to witnesses in the country who are visiting the country at the moment, and it turned out it wasn't true. Of course, it got the internet meme treatment. We've got here a little picture of Putin with the same haircut. I think that might have been photoshopped, perhaps. But what it flags up really is the West's appetite for quirky stories about North Korea, any detail about totalitarianism, because, of course, there's such a dearth of real information and important information from that country.
A story like that always does light up the web for a few hours. Olivia Salazar-Winsper, thank you very much for bringing us Media Watch. Quick break now, but stay with us. More news and headlines coming right up.